Let's
Tyler! Go, Tyler!
let's just see first. Um,
Woohoo!
okay.
Yeah.
Woo! All right. Sorry about that, everyone. Um, that we had some technical difficulties where the reason why I wasn't streaming was because I didn't start the stream even though I was sending things to it. So thank you so much for sticking around. Um, I'm gonna do just a couple things before we start, just because um, we had a lot of tech issues. All right. Thank you all so much for joining today and for staying. And sorry we're running 15 minutes late. This is the second part of Nothing Else Left to Read, a two-part series where we had our first concert last month that deals with live performative frameworks and graphic scores. And introducing liveness back into the online concert. This project is made possible with generous support from the University of Toronto COVID-19 Engagement Grant. And we are really excited about this concert in particular because the first concert was sort of creating the framework for allowing this to happen. And the second concert is more of an experiment or than anything, because we're really working with the way the audience might interact with graphic scores, which is really exciting. And I think we have a couple that will be really interesting tonight. Before we start, I also want to thank Julie Zhu and Joyce Toe, who are the other two team members on this project who are working behind the scenes right now, and we won't get to see them, but they've been working so tirelessly with me throughout this whole project. So thank you to both of you. I'm going to welcome the three of our amazing performers tonight, Ciyadh, Yvette, and Raquel. Ciyadh Wells is a multifaceted musician who prides herself in not only being an artist but also an activist and a scholar. As a scholar and an educator, Wells believes everyone deserves access to diverse and inclusive art, which she advocates as being essential to society. Ciyadh's mission is to utilize the impact of music old and new to manifest moments of meaningful change and to inspire community therein. She is the artistic and executive director of Margin's Guitar Collective, and she is a member of the Sphinx Lead program. Ciyadh is one half of the guitar duo Charango and lives in Austin, Texas, where she works at Austin Classical Guitar. Yvette Agapow is a percussionist, improviser, and improviser practicing mainly on the traditional lands belonging to the Jagera and Turrbal people, Mianjin, otherwise known as Brisbane, Australia. She primarily works in the realm of acoustic sound making with a focus on objects in theater as a method of exploring disconnect connect to gender, trauma, and the body. She has been involved with Talgum Music Festival, Concept Ensemble, Woman of Noise, and has recently completed a mentorship with the Australian Art Orchestra. Her most recent ensemble projects include contemporary percussion duo Provocative Vibrations and improvisational ensemble Avant-Garde Strip Club. And finally, born and raised in Brooklyn, New York, Raquel Klein is an active conductor, vocalist, instrumentalist, and visual artist. She is currently a touring vocalist with Anthony Braxton for his retrospective Braxton 75 concert season. She conducts with the Grammy Award-winning Brooklyn Youth Orchestra, and she has premiered works by Philip Glass, John Adams, Louis Andreasen, Nico Muhly, Caroline Shaw, Paola Pristini, Bryce Desner, Missy Mazzoli, Sharon Nova, and Alexandra Rebalov, to name a few. Raquel has performed at Carnegie Hall, Lincoln Center, Radio City Music Hall, Town Hall, BAM, St. Anne's Warehouse, Celebrate Brooklyn, National Sawdust, and elsewhere, and has recorded and performed with the likes of Glenn Onsard, Arcade Fire, Bon Iver, The National, Grizzly Bear, The Knights, New York Phil, and the International Contemporary Ensemble, and the Mariinsky Orchestra. And please welcome me in welcoming Ciyadh, Yvette, and Raquel. Tonight we're playing really beautiful graphic scores by Nicole Mitchell, Julie Zhu, Phoebe Bognár, Hassan Estakharian, Lou Sheppard, and Constantin Basica. There'll be a short intermission between Julie and Phoebe's piece, and they'll go ahead and explain some of their composition because those two will be world premieres today. And since this concert is free, we do hope that you'll join us in supporting two organizations tonight. The first being Sisters Inside, an independent community organization based in Queensland, Australia, advocating for the collective human rights of women and girls in prison and their families, and provides services to address their individual needs. And the other organization is Black Classical Music Educators, which is an online space that makes it easy for both parents of young aspiring musicians and adult students interested in sharpening music skills to easily secure private lessons with Black Classical Music Educator. It is also a community for Black classical music educators to find and professionally engage with each other, as well as offering private lessons in every instrument of the orchestra, as well as voice, piano, composition, music theory, and conducting. Please join us in supporting these organizations tonight. There are two really amazing causes that we're really excited to have the opportunity to support. So before each piece, we'll basically pause for 30 to 45 seconds just so you can read the composer's bio, get to know a little bit about them, and then we'll continue to each piece. And after intermission, we'll also explain how the interactive scores work. And also before Hassan's piece, I'll make a comment about how you can interact with the score in the YouTube live comments. So without further ado, I want to welcome you to this concert and Nicole Mitchell's Collisions. All right, just a quick thing about this next piece. It comes in the form of these cards that Hassan has made, and so um, uh, so for this next piece, what we will ask for the audience in the live comments, um, there are 22 cards in total. And if you can actually comment numbers 1 through 22 at any point, Julie and Joyce behind the scene will actually flip to that card. So this will be a moment where the audience can interact with the score through deciding which page. So feel free to join us as we perform this next piece. Awesome. So amazing. We're going to take a quick intermission now, and actually we thought it would be a great time for Julie to maybe talk a little bit about that piece. Let me turn you on, Julie, and sound check. Yeah, here, let me pin you as well. Julie, do you mind?
Me?
Yeah, do you mind talking a little bit just so I can make sure you're going through?
Sure.
Oh, yep, you're going
Hi.
through. Okay, cool.
Hi everyone. Thank you for watching. And thank you, Raquel, Ciyadh, and Yvette for playing this very experimental piece. It came from these discussions I had with Issei Hare, a cellist, about translating the paintings that I made in accordion books to sound, and it felt, everything was so sort of relative. I mean, but actually, like a point sounds like a point. I mean, anyone interpreting a point would sort of, I think, do something similar. I think our brain sees a point or a line, and we actually have associates and sound associations with it. Um, and so this was sort of an exercise of like that gut reaction, that very like in the moment. It's like what do you play, sort of, and to repeat that and maybe get a groove in. And I thought these wonderful musicians did an amazing job. And I honestly didn't know if it was even a piece that would work fast, right? Usually graphic scores are allowed for space and sort of the adjustment in the interpretation. Um, but anyway, thank you so much for coming. And maybe we can go to Phoebe's piece. And her score is so, goodness, so beautiful.
Yeah. And before we go to Phoebe's piece, I just wanted to, sorry, let me turn my sound up. I just wanted to remind everyone, while we're taking a short pause, to please support the two groups. Since this is a free concert, Sisters Inside and Black Classical Music Educators tonight. Phoebe, I think she's on here somewhere. Great.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Not everyone in the Zoom can hear you, but I can certainly hear you.
Hello.
Phoebe, do you want to talk a little bit about your piece?
Yeah, certainly. Thanks so much for inviting me to contribute something again to this concert. It's an honor. So my piece is called Terrain, I thought. And I'd always enjoyed collage, and I thought to make something in that vein with all these like old magazines and things that were just like laying around the house. I was like, oh yeah, reduce, reuse, recycle, why not? And then it's essentially, we're in quite a time where travel is very limited, and yeah, so it's about travel in a time of being fixed, travel in a sonic realm, and as well as imagine places and what place could sound like without us having actually never visited there. So I've created these like little a terrain which determines multiple elements of sound, which is completely up to the players as well. But also there's an interest in language, in assumed meanings, subversions, unfinished sentences, words, unpredictability, and as well as surprises. So yeah, there's also an interactive element, which I'll get Tyler to explain. Yeah, he's working his max MSP magic, so I thank him very much for doing so. And yeah, thank you to the performers as well. You guys sound so amazing. So yeah.
Thank you so much, Phoebe. Sorry. So yeah, so this piece has an interactive element with words. How you'll see this piece, which you'll see in a couple of seconds, is there's a lot of white space, and so this space is meant to be filled in with different words from the audience. So what we'll actually do is, if everyone can every now and then like type a word they like into the YouTube live chat, and I'll just go ahead and sort of pick and choose a couple to enter into the score in real time. Yeah. So just give me a second. I need to rearrange some things with OBS and Zoom, because now this is where it gets a little bit challenging. All right, here we go. Sorry, let's see. All right. Awesome. Oh, I am on. Okay, good. Awesome. Thank you all so much. Oh, sorry, I'm like moving everything around. So we have two more pieces. The next piece is similar to what we just did. It's Lou Sheppard's piece, which I'll pull up now, and I'll explain it a little bit. So Lou Sheppard is a visual artist who lives in Nova Scotia, and they created a graphic score that looks like this, and was actually meant to be a dance score, and they made this recently, and it's about social distancing. So all the paths are equidistant from one another, but we thought it'd be really interesting if we tried to interpret it musically. So there's a couple of parameters for the audience here, and before we start, I'll also copy and paste the instructions into the chat. But you have three different options here, and I'll also be following along like I did for the last piece. You can either rotate the score 90 degrees, 180 degrees, or 270 degrees, either direction. You can determine how many paths are on the board. So if you want every path to disappear except one, you can just type that in. And then the last one has to do with actually the color wheel, which is called a hue angle. So it's a number from 1 to 360, and basically, if you imagine the color wheel, the hue angle is how far you go away from that original color. So if you do 180, it's basically the inverted color. But before we start, let me just copy and paste those instructions, because I know that was a lot to remember. All right. Here. It's a little squished, but perhaps you get the idea. Yeah. Anyway, this is Lou Sheppard's Murmurations. Awesome. We have one more piece tonight, Constantin Basica's. I just want to, before we end, I just want to thank you all so much again for coming tonight, and sorry we had a late start. Yeah, and please again consider supporting Sisters Inside or Black Classical Music Educators. And with that, we'll just quickly get set up for the very last piece. One moment. Oh wait, I'm sorry. Right, Constantine, you need to share your screen here. Yep, thank you. All right. Sorry, everyone. Amazing. So I think, sorry. So I think actually, we think we're gonna do a redo on Hassan's piece, just because it was a little shorter than expected. So I think before we end, I think we're gonna try that one more time. If Julie or Joyce wants to share their screen to do that. And again, so for this piece, all you have to do is type in numbers, and Julie or Joyce will click on them and go to that number slide. So yeah, let's give it another try. There we go. Sorry, my all right. Thank you all so much again for coming tonight. I know we had a little bit of technical difficulties in the beginning, but it was really amazing. And getting to hear the rehearsals and the performance has been like really, really incredible. So lovely. Thank you so much, our amazing trio performers, Ciyadh, Yvette, and Raquel. And thank you all so much for coming to this second installment of Nothing Else Left to Read. Yeah, thanks so much.